Record in this patient was conference case. This is regarding the issuance of the writ in this matter. Mr. Hampton was gracious enough to share with myself and counsel the email that was sent. The nature, I don't know the entire nature of the procedure that the defendant is undergoing. However, one thing that is stated in there that shed some light for the court is that she indicates to be available next week. I'm not going to adjourn it to next week because I don't know that there's really an issue ultimately that this court is going to come to. So I'm going to issue the writ, but delay its execution and indicate that it can be executed no earlier than the 29th. All right. So that way she's got to the end of the month and she's done. Counsel posed a good question that is to trying to make sure that it's final. I wish a lot of things in my life were final. If somebody comes in and says something, I think I'm obligated to listen, but the intent of the court in doing this is that this is it. It's done. We're one or two ways it's going to happen at the end of this month. Right?
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you. When we locate it, I have to just put on there.
Not prior to the 20th.
Yeah, I have to be exit forever. Real Properties versus Lieutenant Patrick. Are these?
Okay, now we're doing the part on behalf of Beal Properties.
The first two are, got it. Your name?
Barbara.
Apple. Your name, sir?
Matata Patrick.
All right. Well, where are we on this case?
Your Honor, the rent to retain is $2,980.32 with costs of $176.32 for a total of $3,162.64. We're asking for a writ date of May 18th.
All right. Anybody? Yes. Your position with this is you can restate it for the record. Your position with this case? Yes. Okay. So what were you going to tell me?
So there's correspondence with the actual homeowner that there's an agreement where we would continue to pay the rent that we've been paying. In addition to the utility bills that I do a utility allowance for, which were done yesterday, as a matter of fact. And then we would continue to seek alternate funding for the back rent, as well as find Mr. Matata a new unit to go to. And then my agency could then, if we couldn't seek an alternate community resource to pay for his back rent or pay a portion of that, we could then pay that.
Here's the catch-22 of housing court. The agency is offering to pay the back rent, but only after the tenant moves out. That's like offering a life jacket after someone's already drowned. This tactic puts immense pressure on the tenant to vacate, but it also reveals how broken the system is for low-income families. No funding now, but maybe later? That's not how eviction works.
Higher back rent at that point once he leaves the unit. And that's in correspondence. There's an entire email thread with that the previous attorney should have access to. The one that was here a week ago.
All right. So
Ms. Hall, I believe the name was.
yeah. So what's really happening is the rent's going to be paid going forward.
It has been for the last 2 months. We've paid 2 payments already of $17.60, plus have done 2 utility allowances for Mr. Matata as well.
So what months would those be?
It was March, and I'm sorry, it was April, and then I just delivered one, yes, Wednesday, maybe, Tuesday, Wednesday. It was a little late because our printing machine was down. I delivered it to the new address on Michigan Avenue in the Dropbox.
So that payment must not have been taken off of this account. And the only reason, okay, the only reason I'm saying that is because the number claimed owed went up 1 month. But if what you're indicating happened, then it's going to go back to that one figure where I have a static amount of back rent. Okay.
Correct.
All right. No, that's okay. So what are we going to do then on the case? I get that rent's being paid going forward, but I don't know.
And their homeowner, I'm not sure. I assumed there was correspondence with them. He had agreed. He said put it in letterhead, which I attached to the email as he suggested with the terms. So I'm not exactly sure.
Go ahead, Ken.
Your Honor, my client has indicated that what he is willing to accept as a conditional dismissal with the terms that have been laid out before the court.
Okay, I guess I don't have a problem with it, but I don't want to end up as the one thing that I didn't hear. Is there a date that he's going to move, or has that been resolved?
For alternate housing right now.
Okay, that's going to be right. No, I get it. I guess that's going to be my problem with the conditional dismissal because there isn't an end.
Well, I would raise the question then, is there a reasonable expectation he'd be out by the end of June? Because we put the end of June date in there. If not, then we're back to the question you posed, Your Honor.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's realistic I mean, I can't force somebody to agree to that date. It sounds to me like the parties are working together so that everything stays static. The one thing that's missing is that end date. And how many people are in his family? You know, is it just him?
7.
7 people, no income, and a mountain of late fees. This is the human side of eviction cases. It's not just about unpaid rent, it's about where do they go. Finding a unit for a large family with no income is nearly impossible, and the judge knows it. This moment highlights the tragic reality of housing insecurity. Sometimes the law has no good answers.
That's going to be, okay, now I understand. That's going to be the problem because you got to find a unit for 7. Okay.
And the family has no income, so that's been the issue, accumulating late fees, and there have been some fees that have been attached that our grant could not cover, so I've had to find, for the last several years, we've been working with him, community resources to cover these fees. And at this point, we've just ran out of funding for those resources. He's accessed the ESG funding through SOS several weeks ago, which was the max at that point. And so we've met that for the year already.
So he's already gone through SOS, got the 3.
Correct. My agency, though, I was confirmed with my supervisor on Thursday. We're getting some additional funding for housing in June. What that looks like, I'm not entirely sure. We could put some of that funding towards that balance at that
Is this
point.
coming from the county?
No, sir. I'm not sure what the funding is. If it's
Okay.
grant or
Gotcha. Okay. No, the only reason I'm asking is because everything is now messed up with funding
yeah.
in a big way. So let me ask this. If the back balance got paid, are they going to be able to stay or no? I mean,
Our client indicates yes, Judge.
okay.
My grant, unfortunately, we can't pay that back rent until he's out of the unit.
Because nobody wants to make their life easy. Okay.
Then it's fine.
client indicates, Judge, if the court is comfortable with putting either a July or an August date to give them more time, we could put that in the conditional dismissal if the court is comfortable with it.
I'd be comfortable with this because we could do that so that there's a conditional dismissal of August, but that there would be no writ without a hearing. I don't, and here's the reason I'm saying that.
The judge just dropped the mic on the real issue here. Funding cuts. Summer is coming, and with it, fewer resources for housing assistance. This isn't just about one case, it's a systemic crisis. The judge's frustration is palpable because they're being asked to solve a problem with no tools. When funding dries up, the court's hands are tied and families fall through the cracks.
The issue with what's now happened with funding in this county is, my head is still about to explode from a Wednesday morning meeting that I had regarding that. Because the amount of funding is lessening as we go into the summer to save people's housing. So normally under the circumstance, we'd be able, quite frankly, if we were in the winter, which is another weird thing, we'd likely be able to find funding to pay this back balance and then move forward. I can tell you right now, it's not going to happen. In particular, if he's already tapped into the resources, it's not going to happen. So I don't have a problem, and I'd appreciate if there was an August date, but that there be a hearing prior to the issuance of that. But as a part of that conditional dismissal, his current monthly rent has to be paid forward so that...
The judge is playing hardball now. An August deadline with a mandatory hearing before any eviction means the tenant has one last shot to secure housing or funding. But here's the kicker. If they fail, the court won't hesitate to issue the writ. This is the judge's way of saying, I've given you every chance, now prove you can follow through.
This amount doesn't get higher.
So that's what we've agreed to.
Okay. Then I don't have a problem if we do an August date, but there'd have to be a hearing. And again, it's just because we're in so much flux. He's got to find a place for 7 people. But I'd be comfortable doing that. Would that work for you, sir? All right.
So we'd have an end date of end of August, and there would, by necessity, be a hearing prior to the issuance of the writ.
Correct.
Okay. I'll get that drafted and filed.
All right. So I'll mark this conditionally dismissed and then submit the paperwork to me. Sir, I do have to advise you that you're appearing here, you're not represented by counsel. Once you sign on to the conditional order dismissal, and I think it's clear what has to happen. They're going to be paying your rent. Got that? Going forward, so there's no balance. And then they're going to be looking for housing for you, but nothing would happen until August. You understand that? All right. And then should you not have secured housing by August, there would be a hearing before this court before an issuance of the writ. You understand that? Those are the basic terms.
Thank you.
All right.
This is the judge's final warning to the unrepresented tenant. You have 3 days to challenge this order if you think it's unfair. But here's the harsh truth. Without a lawyer, most tenants don't even know their rights, let alone how to assert them. The judge is covering their bases legally, but the power imbalance is stark. This is why legal representation in housing court is a game changer.
And so since you're unrepresented by counsel, once you sign off on that, you have 3 business days from the date of my signature to move this court to set that aside. Believe that there's some confusion on your part, some misrepresentation, something you didn't understand, or some right you didn't assert. Okay, that doesn't mean I would grant it, but you'd have that time frame. Got it? Okay. Thank you, folks. Is that it for you, counsel? Or?
No, Judge, I have one more. This is going to make my head explode.
Okay.